Hey everybody. Hello. I'm just checking. I need to set my clock here just a second. And I want to make sure that I have everything set up and I don't miss anybody's comments over here on Facebook. So, good morning. Happy Halloween. And, okay, happy Halloween. It's Tuesday morning, and here in the East Coast, it's actually cooler temperatures. It's feeling more like fall and Halloween trick-or-treating time. I got hair on my face. Sorry about that. Saying trick-or-treating time, I heard something real quick. I know this is not share day, this is Q&A, but they were talking about when it was colder temperatures years ago, how you were freezing and you were so happy you had your Halloween costume, and then your mom made you wear your coat, so you didn't even get to show that costume off. That kind of stunk. That was just something that they were talking about I thought was really funny, because I remember that. I had to cover up my, I think it was a Cinderella or a bride costume that I was so happy to have, but I didn't get to wear it to where anybody got to see it. Alright, so let's get to business, so to speak. Today is Q&A, and last week we had some really good questions. There were questions on adoption, how to, if you want to include those pieces of information you get of your ancestors who are adopted, if you want to include those into your family tree, or if you need to make a separate tree. So if you missed that topic, you can go back and check on my Q&A that took place last week, Tuesday, which was the 24th. And also talked about the type of camera that I use when I do doing the live streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and the camera that I use when I make the videos. And we also touched on why it is I started doing genealogy and why I liked it. Before I forget, I guess I should let you guys know I did have my 2 cups of coffee and I have my water here ready to drink. I think that seems to be something everybody kind of laughs and waits for me to mention, which is good. It means you're watching. So let's see what we have here. There were some questions that I got actually just before I clicked the button to start everything. Hold on. Okay, here we go. All right, so she chimed back in again. I want to make sure that I answered her question. So this is Liz with a Z, or Lisa. Sorry, Lisa. It's Lisa with a Z. I started doing research on my dad's side of the tree, and I can't find an obituary. Why would it have been listed under something else in the newspaper besides obituary, or do I need to hire someone like you to find it? Okay. Lisa with a Z. There is this misconception, or this thought out there. Did I say the right? There's this thought out there that if your ancestor died, that you are going to be able to locate an obituary just like that. I'm sorry to tell you that's not always the case. You have to think about during that time frame when it is that your ancestor passed away. And you have to also take into consideration where they were at financially, because some of you might not even be aware of this. In order to have your obituary placed in the newspaper, it's not something that is lovingly done by the newspaper or by the heads of the newspaper. You have to pay to have that obituary put in there. And depending on, and I am not knowledgeable across the board on every state, every county, every publisher, whoever, of all newspapers. But I know that there are some newspapers that charge per letter, charge per word, charge per line. And I don't know what time frame you're talking about that you were researching on your dad's line. So Liz with a Z, you're still around. I see that you're in here. So so that's, if I knew a time frame, maybe I could help. Well, I can still, okay, back it up. So not everybody's obituary is going to appear in the newspaper, because like I said, it depends on the money, if they where they were financially during that time. Now, that's not to say there was not some kind of small write-up maybe that was done within the community, maybe within the church. You can, if you can't locate the obituary in the newspaper, you might be able to contact the church if you know what church he belonged to, or she belonged to, because you didn't tell me male or female, so let me just say that family member, what church that they belong to. You don't need to hire a genealogist to necessarily find this, because actually you're on the search yourself, you're looking for it yourself, and that's always part of the fun in doing your family research. So my advice to you is contact the church if you know what church it was they belong to. Maybe go to that community, that county or that town, and look in the contact, see if they have a genealogy society, or even if they have a historical society, or even the local library. I don't know how large this community is or town is that you're referring to, but it's, hold on just a minute, and I see Liz. Okay, it's a very small town, and you've already checked with the church. You've already checked with the church. Okay, so you've already checked with the church, and the church doesn't have any information. So see if you can find a local historical society, or see if there's a genealogy society that's there in the area. It doesn't necessarily have to be in the same town. Look at the county. I will say, sometimes as researchers, whether genealogists, family historians, family researchers, whenever you're doing any type of research on a community, on a town, and you're researching a specific individual or an event that took place in that town, we sometimes neglect to look at historical societies. And if you've ever read any of my blog postings before, whether it's on my site, ARodeskyGenealogy.com, links down below, or you followed me years ago when I had Sweet Tea, Tart Lemons, and Memories, a blog page, you'll know that I've made comments before about historical societies and how they are a diamond. If you can find that gold nugget, they have a nugget. They have that diamond, however you refer to your happy find. But they have some of the best information that you might not know about, and they don't always share that information with some of the larger databases or some of the larger archives that you go to, or libraries. I don't know the reason why some don't do it. Some feel as though maybe nobody's going to care because it belongs to this small community, small county, which is what it sounds like your ancestors are at. Check with see if you can find a local historical society. I know I've gone to some historical societies, and when researching for some of the clients that I've had, there's information that they have that I would have never known about if I wouldn't have gone there. The local historical society here in the town where I'm at, they had some of the JP, Justice of the Peace books, nobody knew about, because they happened to have been up in the JP's in his attic, and when somebody came in to purchase the home, they took those books out, didn't know what they were, and put them on the curb for trash to pick up. Which, I mean, they didn't know what it was. Luckily, somebody drove by, saw the books, could tell that they were old and they could hold some information. So they picked up those books and took them to the Historical Society, and thank goodness they have those books now. And I took part in photographing. I photographed every page of all of the books, and I think there's 13 volumes, and the books are pretty big books. So I've photographed each page and working now to make all of that information. I think they're going to put it on their, I don't know if they're going to make it available on an online database, or if that's something I'll just put together and have a link to it when I'm done with it, with the photographs and the information, here in Middletown, Delaware. So the society that I was referring to was the Middletown Historical Society. But check the historical societies. So that's just an example. I mean, something that you wouldn't find anywhere else, because it's a piece, it's a collection that they have, that they haven't shared with others. So I hope that answers your questions. No, you do not have to hire me, but if you want to, by all means. But I think you might be able to find something there. Can't guarantee it. You can also talk to maybe some of the neighbors, your ancestors' neighbors, maybe some of their family members, maybe some of those members, that are still in that community. Maybe some of the descendants of those are in that community, and you can talk to them and see if they have stories on it. I don't know what particular piece of information you're looking for, unless it's just you're wanting to have the obituary to add to your collection. And okay, so yeah, you're just wanting to have that extra thing to add, which is nice to have. It's always, if you have the obituary, it's a little clipping. Yeah, it's nice to have that to add to your collection that you're putting together for your family. Okay, so I hope that helps, Lisa with a Z. Thank you for asking. I appreciate that. And now we have someone who's back. Monkey. Monkey was here last week and asked me, hey, Monkey, asked me the question about the camera that I used. So, Monkey, I keep looking because there's different things coming in, so I think I'm getting better at it. Let me know what you guys think. Monkey wants to know, do I prefer paper files to computers when doing my research? I used to say with laptop will travel. I don't know if that's something that I've ever said. I'm thinking maybe that's what your quote is, Monkey. It's a good quote. I mean, with laptop, yeah, travel, versus the big computer, you can't really carry it. Okay, if you visited my website, link down below, then you will know that I actually have given presentations on this before, on organizing your genealogy and organizing your family research. This is a big topic in those who are doing family research and genealogy, both as a hobby and as a profession, because I'll tell you right now, I can answer this question, but you can go and ask, you can ask 10 different genealogists or family historians or researchers how it is that they organize their research, and you're not going to get the same answer. And I say that because everybody has their own way of organizing the information that they get. And some prefer paper, some prefer computer, some prefer combined. You're going to find some will write notes on paper while they're doing their research, and then they'll transcribe them and add them to their computer and put them in a file on their computer. For me personally, I'm big on both, actually. Actually, I might do a share moment or do a special one on this one, or just do that presentation I normally do on organizing your genealogy and your family research. But let me say this. Like I said, I do both. And I say that because it's funny that you say that with computer will travel. Because, yeah, when you're going to go do the research, you're going to the library, you're traveling to go interview a family member about an ancestor, or you're going to the cemetery, or you go wherever it is you're going, sometimes carrying around a file holder, or, they make those boxes that hold your files in them, the hanging files, and then you can have it all done really nice and organized by alphabet or by document or by surname, however it is that you do that. You can carry that with you. That can be cumbersome, but it is nice to have it on a laptop, so that way you can open it up. It's usually pretty quick to pull up while doing your research. I've done both when I've taken things with me, and I say that because I can't, if I see something really quick when I'm doing my research, I like to be able to write down the notes, and I might not be so quick to type it in and put it into the computer. I know I'm going around and around on this because, like I said, there's just not one answer in this, except for the fact I use both. I do computer and paper. And yes, Monkey wants to know, how do I keep all of my documents? Like, okay, land record or maps and marriage license. Yes, when you're looking for some of those things, those are really big. So carrying around those in your files when you're going from location to location, you run the risk of those getting damaged. So I would highly recommend, and I strongly suggest, if you have copies of those or the originals of those, if those are the only ones that you got, you need to scan copies of those and keep those in your computer so you can take them with you. Last thing you want to do is be walking in somewhere with a file, and if it's raining outside, if it's snowing outside, and you drop it and then it gets wet, then you've ruined that. So always keep a digital copy of it, and when you're traveling, do not take your original documents with you when you're going to do your research, period. Do not do that. If you can get a copy of it and you carry it on your laptop or on your tablet or on your phone, or if you just make a paper copy of it, then make a paper copy of it. Do not take the originals with you, because you never know what can happen, how you could possibly lose those. And I would hate to see that happen. So, sorry, just a minute. So, yes, make copies of those. And I understand when you're asking about that. I agree with you on that, definitely. Make copies of those. Don't take those originals with you. And as far as how do I organize them on file? How do I organize my files on my computer? Okay, Monkey, I've got a suggestion. I got an idea. You let me know what you think on this. What I will do, I will look at setting up a time in one of the live streams, or I will do it and pre-record it and post it on the channel, how I organize, do my genealogy, how I do my research, how I organize my research. And sorry, I got to turn on the fan. And so that way you get an idea. But like I said at the very beginning, you can ask umpteen genealogists and researchers how it is they organize it. You're not going to get the same answer. You have some that are dead set against using a computer because they're afraid of the information being lost. You have them, people that use they only use paper because they like the feel of the paper, or they like to have the original in their hand. They don't want it on the computer. They like to be able to go over to the file cabinets that they have and quickly pull it out and have access to it. Then again, you have those who have so much research, so much in their files on a particular surname or a particular family, and there's so much that they have to. It costs money to buy the file cabinets. I mean, and depending on how large your collection is, it can continue to grow and grow and grow, and before you know, you could be someone setting in what you have as an office, like what I have here, and it's wall-to-wall file cabinets. So you have those that say they don't file everything. They keep some things on the computer, and then they keep some things in the file cabinets that they have. So it's completely up to you how you wish to do it. So I'm going to make a video on it, and I'm going to show you how I do it, and then you can go from there if you would like to do it. I'll just do might just do the presentation that I do and share that with you guys, and you can watch how to organize your genealogy and where to start when you're doing it, and can give you some of the things that I do. Okay, so Monkey, I hope that helps. Let me know what you think, and if that's something that you would be interested in me doing, and if others of you would like to see me do that. And if you want me to do it live, I'll do it live, or if you want me to do it recorded, I'll do it recorded. That's fine. Either way, we'll do it. So thank you so much, and you're welcome, Monkey. I'm sorry. I just like the name. I like the name username Monkey. That's just really good because sometimes when you're doing your research, you don't know what tree you're going to be hanging from to when you're doing your family research. Okay. Liz is back with a Z. Hey, Liz, I'm glad you came back. And you have an additional question. Okay, so we want to know, can I go into a private cemetery even if my family is buried there? It shouldn't be private. It's my family. A lot, this, I know your family is buried in the cemetery. And if it's a private cemetery, unfortunately, you're going to have to get permission to go. I understand what you're saying. It's your family that's there in the cemetery. It was, okay, yes, it was your 3 times great-grandfather's piece of land. Okay, I see. So you got a large number, possibly, of ancestors that are buried there. What I would recommend that you do is you find who owns that land. Let them know that those are your ancestors that are buried there and you would like to have access to it. You would like to see them. I'm assuming that you're wanting to go to see them for research purposes, to take pictures maybe. Like you were saying earlier that you're hoping to get the obituary on someone on your father's side. So if that's what you're wanting to do, more than likely, sometimes people who own the land, they understand. I haven't run across anybody who says, no, I forbid you to come and see who your ancestors are or take pictures of them or see where they're buried at, their resting place. You might even they might, I don't know what condition the family lot is in, plot. They might welcome you to, come in, clean it up. Some I've heard of some where people have been doing research. There's actually a lady that was in Tennessee, I know, she found out her family was buried in the woods, in a wood area on a piece of farmland, and the farmer let her come in and actually put up a fence, a wrought iron fence around it to keep it looking nice. She was able to go on the land over there to where they're buried at and spend time there and take pictures and know that she's cleaned up that resting place, which is really nice. I mean, but I'm not saying that they will let you do that, Liz. They might let you do that. And this you bring up a good point, because a lot of people just assume if their family is buried in that location that they can immediately just have access and go see them. And that's not the case. You have different types of cemeteries that are there. You have your public cemeteries. You have your you have some private cemeteries. You have your churches, your national cemeteries. One thing to keep in mind when you're going to these cemeteries, and I'm not saying you don't, Liz, I'm just saying when you go to them, make sure that you have respect for those families that are there, especially if you're going to a public cemetery area. Even some of these private cemeteries have multiple families that are buried there, and so be respectful of them that are there, all of them that are there, and I'm sure you are, and I'm sure all of you are that go and do any of your research. You're respectful to those family members, to those who are buried there and those who have family members that are buried there. So check before you go. If you're walking down the street and you find a cemetery and you know that you have an ancestor that's buried there, believe it or not, some cemeteries actually have gates that are open to welcome people in. Some of them, I've even been to a few of them that say, welcome to such and such cemetery. So usually you're pretty safe to walk into some of those and go walk through to look for your research. I know those of you who have gone to any presentations or have read any of my website postings or blog postings, which again, link to ARodesky Genealogy down below, that I frequent cemeteries, and I do because I like, that's where you can get a lot of information, not only on those that you're researching, but I like to post information. Today is actually Tuesday, Tombstone Tuesday, so I post information when I go to a cemetery. I'll do a little bit of quick research, and I call them quick pulls on tombstones that I find, and then I like to share that information with all of you guys. So Ask permission before you go to the cemetery. If it's a private cemetery, try and find out who owns that land before you go walking on there. Last thing I want to hear is that, Liz, that you went to go get the information and you have been arrested, or you for no trespassing. So make sure you get permission first before you go. And I understand what you're saying. It's your family and it shouldn't be private, but it's a landowner. And think of it this way. If you have an item in your home that you've purchased at, I don't know if you frequent garage sales or flea markets. If something you've purchased and you have it in your home and it belonged to somebody else and they find out you got it, your home is your private area. You don't want somebody just walking in and saying, well, I don't care if it's private or not because that belongs to me. It's just a respect thing. And I understand, though. Trust me, I do. And I hope that helped explain it a little bit. It's a private cemetery. Get permission first before you go. So, okay, wow, I've been on this for almost 30 minutes. So I hope this helped you guys answering those. What am I dressing up for Halloween? Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. Every Halloween, my family and we always, in years past, we've always done things to where we like to scare people. So I don't know what I'm going to do this year for Halloween. It's kind of undecided. We have a huge Foot Locker box. We have I think we probably have 4 of them full of different masks and costumes and things. And we'll just pick something out, throw it up, walk outside, and the trick-or-treaters come. We usually have one who's dressed nice so we don't scare the younger kids. So I don't know what I'm going to be for Halloween. Maybe if I take a picture and get a picture done, I will share that picture with you, and we'll put it up there and we'll see what it looks like. Gosh, I just looked like the Joker when I did that smile. That was wrong. I can't put that in bloopers. You guys see that one. Okay. Before I forget, I've mentioned before that Corbett Calloway Memorial Library in Odessa is having a drawing, and their drawing is on November 2nd. So this is your opportunity. If you have an ancestor from the Delmarva area, you can head over to Corbett Calloway Memorial Library and register for the giveaway, which is research done on one of your ancestors, surname, as much information we can get, and then you receive the information on my YouTube channel, ARodesky Genealogy. You will get that information while the cameras are rolling. So it'll be a little fun and exciting. It's kind of like those other TV shows that you see about that I can't mention because I do not want to get into trouble. So it'll be a lot of fun. So if you do have an ancestor, like I said, that's from the Delmarva area, and that is the requirement of Corbett Calloway Memorial Library, because they have a wonderful room. It's called the Delmarva Room, the Delaware Room, full of information. Like I said earlier when I was talking to Liz with a Z, Lisa. Oh, Lisa, I'm so sorry. When I was talking to Lisa with a Z, that your historical societies, and they have all of this information. That library has information that I guarantee some of you probably don't even know that's there if you're here in this area, in the MOT, the Middletown, Odessa, Townsend area. So head over there to the library, register for the giveaway. Like I said, they have to be a descendant, or you have to have an ancestor from the Delmarva area, and you have to have a library card. If you don't have a library card, don't worry. It's free. It's easy to do. They're there. They'll help you get it done. And the drawing is November 2nd, and the taping of the show will be on December 2nd, which is really neat because that's when the tour of homes takes place in Odessa for Christmas. So it'll be neat. So you can come in and you can watch the taping as I'm giving whoever it is the winner is. You can come in, watch, and be a part of it and see what's happening. And then you can also walk outside and see how some of the homes are decorated there in Odessa for Christmas. So I will end this with question of the day. And I am trying to think what question I can come up with to ask you guys. Let's go with, Monkey, you asked a good question. You asked about how it is that I do my organization. So how do you guys organize your research? What is it that you do that you find that works for you? And share it with me and share it with the others. And maybe what you do might be something that might work for someone else who's watching. So, and who knows, I might end up adding it to how I do mine. And that's the thing. I mean, you constantly change the way you organize stuff sometimes when you're doing your research, because you keep collecting more and more and more and more. And sorry. Okay. Kathy wanted to know what this was that I pulled up. This is my blanket. I'm sorry. I didn't cover my face with it. It's a little chilly, so I like to cover up when it gets a little chilly. But okay, that's it for now, guys. Thank you so much for watching another episode of Q&A here on ARodesky Genealogy. If you have any questions or anything, make sure you can still send me those questions. I have all of my social media sites down below. Just click away and ask me those questions, and I will get back to you. Either if I don't get back to you right then, trust me, I will get back to you. And like I've said before, if I don't know the answer, I will find the answer out and make sure you get the answer to your question. So thank you guys very much for stopping by and seeing me today. And remember, on Thursday, it's share day. So that would be November 2nd. Oh my gosh, that's the day that they're going to do the drawing there at the library. So I can't forget that date. So November 2nd, come back for share day. Don't know what I'm going to share yet. So you guys have to come back and find out what I'm going to share. So you guys have a very happy Halloween and enjoy the rest of your week. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye.